Tropical parrots in London. Today we're chasing London's noisiest non-human inhabitant, the ring-necked parakeet, and we'll be asking, are they lovable or a leafy menace? So let's meet the bird. Species ring-necked, aka rose-ringed parakeet, Siticula cremeri, if I've said that correctly, native to sub-Saharan Africa and the Indian subcontinent. Distinctive bright green colour, red beak and blue tail. Ringnecks born in captivity have multiple colour mutations which include violet, grey, turquoise, cinnamon, olive, white, blue and yellow. In the wild, natural green plumage is excellent camouflage, helping survival. In captivity, these survival pressures do not exist, so mutations that would normally be rare can flourish. Birds with unusual colours aren't disadvantaged, so these mutations are more likely to be passed on. Sexually dimorphic. This means that something visually separates the male and the female. This could be size, this could be colour, behavioural traits, etc. So with these, the males usually show that rosy black neck ring. Females and immatures do not. Its ability to comfortably inhabit busy urban areas and withstand Europe's very low temperatures means it was inevitable that these parakeets would spread so far. A population that had been adapted to the cold winters in the Himalayan foothills might have been the one that spread across northern Europe. Fun facts: most northerly breeding parrot in the world. Generalist diet: seeds, buds, fruit, garden feeders and orchard crops when available. Big winter roosts, thousands pack into a handful of trees at dusk. Origins: the truth versus the legends. You've heard the stories. Jimi Hendrix released them on Carnaby Street, or they escaped from the set of The African Queen in the 1950s, or a storm smashed Avery in the big storm of '87. Cool tales, bro, but the data says otherwise. The Natural History Museum and a Queen Mary University study say the UK birds mostly descend from repeated releases escapees via the pet trade. DNA points to Pakistan, northern India. First confirmed breeding around London and Kent was late 1960s. The Great Storm of '87 may have added a boost later. Timeline: the 1850s to the 1930s. Scattered UK records, populations fizzle out. Late 1960s, confirmed breeding in London and Kent. Late 1990s to 2010s, numbers explode. London becomes Parakeet HQ. So how many are there? Counts vary with methods, but we're comfortably in the tens of thousands. A UK roost count in 2012 tallied 32,000 birds. Estimates now often quote 12,000 breeding pairs, so about 24,000 plus adults and growing. Where to see and film them? Richmond Park, Kew, Kensington Gardens, Hyde Park, Regent's Park, Hampstead Heath, Walthamstow Marshes, and definitely out here in the Bexley and Greenwich boroughs where I usually go to. Outside of that, I'm not 100% sure, but I do hear them even a few miles outside that. Even a recent family trip to Southampton, I popped to a local park, plenty there. Here are some filming tips. Golden hour at big roosts equals dramatic silhouette flocks. Track the calls, the creak, to find flight lines between feeding and roost sites. For portraits, midwinter bare branches help your autofocus. Look for nest hole inspections February to April. Should you feed them? It's viral, but royal parks ask not to feed wildlife. Hand feeding spreads disease, disrupts behaviour and encourages bites. Please get your shots without snacks. What about impacts? Who loses when parrots win? Scientific studies show parakeets can dominate feeders and compete for nest holes with native cavity nesters. Starlings, nuthatches, stock doves. This was often what I was greeted with when I looked out my window to see the feeders. And it's not just birds. A 2018 study documented parakeets ousting and even killing a threatened bat species at roost sites in Spain. Different country, same species. It shows what heavy competition can look like. Attitudes are mixed. Many Londoners love the colour. Conservation folks keep a cautious eye on knock-on effects for natives and for crops as ranges expand. Now, although I'm sure it's making very little impact on their numbers, they are a favourite food of the peregrine falcon. In mid-May this year, 2025, I discovered a peregrine nest local to me, and I went out regularly to film them. I watched them bring back parakeets multiple times a day. The juveniles, which I believe are still local, are hanging around an old gas storage cage and hunting the parakeets. I was at my local park near the cage getting parakeet footage for this vlog, and I heard the peregrines swoop and chase them. Now, are they officially invasive? What's the policy? So there's a lot of technical legal jargon here. Lower third, non-native on England's general licence GL40 and GL42. And this is, in England, ringneck parakeets are listed on general licences that allow authorised persons to control certain birds under specific conditions for conservation or to prevent serious damage. A quick explainer: GL40, conservation of wild birds, flora and fauna, which includes the ringneck parakeet. GL42, prevent serious damage and disease. Right, let's pop over to the internet comments corner. Pretty cool invasive species, easily a top 10. Random London user after a flock hit their street. It sounds like all the parakeets in London are having a rally. The noise is almost deafening. Does anyone else hate the parakeets? Why so loud and squawky for so many hours? They're more hand tame than my own parrot. Boys get a pinkish neck ring. So what's the verdict? Are they charming? Absolutely. Are they changing the ecology? Research says yes, especially at feeders and nest holes. Policy: treat them as controllable where justified. As filmmakers, we can tell the whole story. So if you like this little deep dive and fact session, leave some comments, let me know your experiences with the ringneck parakeets, and I'll speak to you next time. So this tree, yeah, this is where I'm getting most of my footage. The parakeets are getting the acorns and they're dropping down, and magpies are picking off the scraps. But yeah, there's a bunch of trees around this area where the path loops around in the middle of the park, where the parakeets mostly get filmed. I've just been coming back and filming loads and loads to overlay. I've probably filmed up to 30 to 40 minutes, but in the vlog you'll have seen a few seconds here, a few seconds there. And yeah, wood pigeons, but you can just hear them. This is the central part. They're dotted all around the place, but this is the main bit. I'll go for a walk on the, looking at it, to the eastern section, because that's where a lot of the nests are. You saw the one where it was in the sort of the dead tree with all the holes. That's the main nest area. There's a tree for the parakeets. I've never seen that many in one area. I just sat back there and filmed them. I filmed the whole tree, then I kind of zoomed in and cropped in on different bits, try and pack in as many as I could. Yeah, it's a great day. Yeah, normally I don't find anything of any interest in here, except maybe nuthatches and great spotted woodpeckers at this spot. But this is, now I'm doing this parakeet video, I've got stuff to film. Yeah, they are, you know, they're pretty to look at. If you're in another country somewhere tropical, you'd love to see them. You could sit and watch them. But yeah, if you lived here, it drowns out all of the other bird sound. But I've just been into the centre where the dead tree was, where they looked like they were nesting and there was nothing there. So it seems every time I come here, they're kind of feeding in a different area, perched in a different area, roosting in a different area. Yeah, they're going off. Where are they going? Yeah, just going off into the fields and the trees on the south side of the road, the main road.